All right. Welcome back to another episode of the CyberPro Austin YouTube channel. My name is Austin Dennis, and today I've got a video for you showing you a Python script that I wrote. So basically, I'm calling this script the Nmap Optimizer. Now, how much it optimizes Nmap or how much it's just me doing a lot of unnecessary backend work, I'll leave that for you to decide. But I did some cool stuff and I wanted to share it with you. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, and it doesn't really save you any time, if at all. If it does save you time, it's minuscule, but I'm working on just trying to come up with some cool ways to get Python to automate things for me and just do a lot of tasks for me behind the scenes and limit the amount of work that I do. So I was looking for some cool projects and I wanted to share this one with you because I thought it was worth making a video over and going through and explaining what I did. So if you're looking at my screen right now, I've got Kali open and I've got a command on the screen right now for sudo nmap-t5-sv-sc-0 or -o -p-192.168.75.129. So what I'm doing right now is throwing a lot of stuff at this IP address, scanning all 65,535 ports, and I'm doing it really fast. I'm trying to find the version number of it, I'm trying to find the operating system, and I'm trying to find the scripts that I could possibly run against it. So this is some nice information that you can get in your scanning and enumeration phase of a penetration test. And I'll just go ahead and run this for you really quick, and you can see that it's starting to go. Now, I don't really have anything else on this network right now other than my Kali machine and this box that I'm scanning. The box is a Keyoptrix machine. I've been going through the Practical Ethical Hacking course on TCM Securities Academy, and I thought that this would be one worth my time that I could have on my machine and basically be able to just give you an example of what this does. So as you can see, in 26.92 seconds, we got all of this information. So we can see that port 22 is open, we can see that port 80 is open, we can see that port 111 is open, we can see that port 139 is open, 443, and last but not least, 32,768 is open. So all of that was accomplished just by using one command. So what I have done is basically written this Python script that accomplishes the exact same thing, but instead of running that script, or instead of running that command against every single one of the ports, first I ran a simpler command, which was specifically only for identifying open ports, not anything about them, took those port numbers that came back from that result, and then used those ports. I iterated through them and started up a separate Nmap scan for every single one of them individually, and then outputted the results. So I've got this file here, nmap-optimizer.py. I hit enter, I enter in the sudo password for Kali, and then it asks me to enter the IP address to scan. So 192.168.75.129. And then I just hit enter and I wait for it to run. So when it's running the initial scan, what it's doing is running a command of nmap-t5-p-. It returns that immediately, and we get the same exact information back, that port 22 is open, port 80, 111, 139, 443, 32,768. And we get the MAC address of the machine also. Now it's taking those ports and running through separately, and we can see that it just finished up. So we've got the exact same result over here that we did with the last one, but instead of having to actually manually type out everything, the only thing that you needed to type in this was the IP address. And so we get all the same information. So I like it because you basically cleanly get the open ports up here, and then without having to do anything else, you get all the additional information about each of these at the same time. And this is basically a way, in my mind, that I guess makes a little bit less noise on the network because you're not throwing as much at every single port on the network and you're doing time. In terms of the total time taken, it's virtually the same. I've run it a couple different times. See this one over here, it took 26.92 seconds. Over here, it takes 27.05, virtually the same. I ran it a couple different tests. Sometimes the one that I wrote was faster. Sometimes the one that just runs the initial command is faster. But basically, what I just wanted to do was try to put something together that could just take commands that I would typically run on a normal basis if I'm starting an engagement and just get it all into one place so that the only thing I'd have to do is just basically run and execute the Python script that I wrote and go ahead and go through it. So let me just go ahead and pull this up for you so that you can see what I did. So I've got a little bit of text on here that just explains what I do in a way that you can modify it and things like that. But so to start, I imported 4 different modules. So I import the subprocess module, the re module, the multiprocessing module, and the time module. I brought in subprocess so that I would actually be able to run a shell command from within Python. The re command is able to extract specific information from the output of the Nmap scan in this one. It's able to do that type of stuff. Multiprocessing helps us to facilitate the parallel processing of multiple tasks running at the same time. So basically, as you can see down in the third function that I define, the def nmap scan port instead of ports, which is the first one, this is actually setting up its own individual nmap scan. So I'm actually running multiple nmap scans at the same time. And this could be one if for some reason a machine is literally only running one open port, or it could be 100 if for some reason there's 100 open ports on a machine. So I had to make this so that it was running them all at the exact same time rather than simultaneously running them, or else this would be making it so it would take ridiculous amount of time to get through if it had to wait for each individual scan to finish before it would actually be done. So multiprocessing makes it so that you're able to use multiple things at the exact same time. And then the last module that I imported, the time module, which was basically just to give us the time that it took from the start to the finish of the command, the same way that Nmap does, just to give us a comparison between what running the actual command by itself does and the difference between the Python script that I wrote. So I've only got 3 functions with this. I've got this define extract ports. Basically what this does is with the results of the nmap scan ports, it uses the re module and the find all, and then uses this string to find basically where you got TCP and open to figure out what the port is there, and that just gets the port on there for you. Then we've got nmap scan ports, which runs the command nmap-t5-p- and then takes the IP that is inputted. So from there, we return that result, and then we've got the last function of nmap scan port instead of ports, which takes in the arguments of the IP and a port, and it runs the command nmap-t5-sv-sc-o-p, specifies the port, and specifies the IP address, which is going to be the same one that you ran the initial scan against. So the way that the function actually works, that we bring everything together and make this one script, is the first thing we do is get a variable IP address, which we take the input of enter the IP address to scan. We immediately upon entering the IP address to scan, we start recording the time that it took. So we assign time.time to the variable start time, and then we run the initial scan to get open ports. So it's running the initial scan, and then it assigns basically that nmap scan to result ports, and then we print result ports. So immediately you can see on the screen what the ports that are open are. That is the one place that my script has over nmap, is that with the initial nmap scan, when you're only running the one command, you don't get to see any of the information about open ports until the very end of the program. So mine at least is able to run both of those nmap scans. You get a little bit of a sneak peek into what ports are open before you get all of the maximized detail in it. I take the function extract ports and I put the variable result ports into it to get open ports from that. It basically just assigns all the different ports that are there. And then from there, I print scanning open ports just to signify, hey, we're moving on to the next one. And then from there, I go into the multiprocessing module and I start running a script for every single one of them. And basically, this is where that is happening. So we're assigning it to the variable results, and we are taking the Nmap scan port module, and we're importing an IP address and port for port in open ports. So just iterating through the open ports variable and getting each one of those out of it into there. And then for in results, we just print each individual Nmap scan when it's all done. If you want, you don't have to do it that way. You can set it up to where it's actually just printing them out on the screen, each individual Nmap command. If you want to do that, you can do that. I personally just didn't want to do that. I liked waiting all the way until the end, just because some ports, they take more time. One of the IP addresses that I was scanning on a different box, basically it had a lot more open ports in like the 30,000 range, and it was going on those, and basically it was getting out of order because some of those took longer than others. And so I decided to just wait to print it out until the end, because it can be a little bit annoying to have to not have all your ports in order. This just makes it so that they're all in order. And then the final thing that this does is basically takes the time again with the time.time module, assigns the variable elapsed time to end time minus start time, and then just prints out a nice little message at the end telling us how long it took for all of this to go. So if you are interested in checking this out yourself, I decided to start a GitHub profile, and I uploaded that on there. Other than the short little readme introductory thing, that's the only thing that I have on there at the moment. But I just have it called Nmap Optimizer. If you want to give it a try yourself, you can do it. I do want to give a disclaimer. This is not an original idea. I may have already mentioned it in the video, but Heath Adams came up with this. He basically just kind of mentioned it in passing, was saying that it's something that you could do, and there very well could be someone out there that's already made something like this and maybe even made it better than me and function better. I just wanted to make this video to basically share what I've been doing and share what I thought was kind of a cool little thing that I did in Python. Like I said, the functionality of it isn't really that cool, but I am excited basically to expand on this and move forward, running different commands that could basically just get myself, I think it'd be cool to basically hypothetically write a script that, just does like a whole very simple penetration test from like start to finish, just Nmap into other commands and basically just try to completely automate an entire thing. I might try to work on that with this Keyoptrix machine and just literally just enter the IP address and basically just let it do its thing and move all the way through it and see if I might be able to, get into that. I don't exactly remember what I did in this Keyoptrix machine to hack into it a couple weeks ago, but I've got the notes on it and I could definitely do that again, no problem. But, just kind of something that I wanted to throw out here. I think it's kind of cool. You might think it's cool. You might have a way that you can optimize it and make it even better. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. But I just wanted to share this with you. The Nmap Optimizer just basically makes it simpler on your end, especially maybe if you're a beginner and you don't really know all the Nmap flags and things that you can do. This just makes it so that you can download this, and the only thing that you need to know is the IP address of your target. Real quick disclaimer before I finish the video: don't scan something that you're not authorized to. Don't think that you'll be able to be sneaky and scan something and not be caught. Nmap is very noisy. It's typically the first tool that you're going to learn with cybersecurity and penetration testing. Every company in the world knows about it. Not everybody is necessarily monitoring it, but especially all the bigger companies, they will know immediately. So this is more of just a kind of a fun tool, something that I came up with. I wanted to share it with you and just kind of wanted to introduce the fact that I'm going to start posting some different projects on GitHub. So if you'd like to follow me over there, I'd appreciate it. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe learned something, maybe about a different module or something like that. But I hope that you will continue to stick around with me. Thank you guys for all the support as always, and I will see you next time.